This 57 MGA has an interesting history. The prior owner started this restoration before the convenience of the internet in 1990. He completely restored the chassis with all new parts, most of which look like their new old stock. Basically, every moving part was bought new. It looks like he had professionals do the engine and transmission work on it. The guy must have been a pretty serious enthusiast, because he went through a lot of effort to buy new and correct hardware down to the smallest screw. All of this stuff was in boxes and bags when I got it. Evidently, the guy had health issues and the restoration stalled in 93. Then he sold the car to an extended family member, and then it sat in dry storage until I got the car in 2022. So, sort of a barn find and in boxes. So basically, the heavy lifting was complete in the car, including, he did new in and outer rocker panels, and, the whole chassis was done. I bought it with the intention of doing an electric conversion on it. It's one of the many things on my bucket list. But once I got it home, I discovered he had spent so much time in the drivetrain, I couldn't bring myself to hack the thing up. Plus, the engine sound in these cars is just amazing, and I didn't want to lose that. So the car has a completely new wiring loom, and there's a lot of joking about Lucas being the king of darkness and all, but this is one of the few cars I've assembled where everything actually worked on the first go. There are some additional customizations to the wiring I did, and everything I do with solder and shrink. I don't use buck connectors. So the car runs beautifully. The carbs were supplied with all brand new parts, basically every moving part. They were adjusted using an AAM wideband O2 sensor. Uh, I made a bunch of improvements to the car I'll cover separately in the video. I built this thing for my daughters, hoping they get the old car bug, so to speak, but sadly, this car has the millennial anti-theft device, and shifting is clearly too much work, so instead they opt to continue to drive the Miata we have in the fleet. Uh, since the car sat for 30 years in a semi-restored state, I replaced some of the gaskets on the engine and transmission just for good measure. I also wanted to get a look inside and validate what was done by the prior owners. There's a mountain of receipts for this thing, and they all confirm the parts that were placed in the engine, transmission, and such. I've driven the car about 300 shakedown miles, as you'll see in the driving video. It's a blast to drive and brings smiles to everyone who sees it. I have full confidence in the car. You'll see that as I demonstrated a 75-mile-an-hour run on the freeway. But I just can't justify keeping the car since I have other convertibles and many more cars in the bucket list. Other than the rockers, the car was mostly rust-free. I did the usual OSPHO treatments with DTM epoxy and refinished it with base coat clear coat in rock moss green. I have a half gallon of the color that comes with the car. It was cut and buffed once after it was done a couple years ago, and it still looks very crisp without any shrink ups. As you can see in the photos, the gaps look very good. The car fits together is pretty well compared to most MGAs. It has a brand new convertible top, and the frame was restored with new wood as needed. The car came with bolt-on wheels, but I upgraded it to chrome wires. If the new owner wanted to put on mini lights or something and track the car, the original front hubs have new bearings and they're included. I upgraded the start switch to a reliable relay setup, but the original Lucas switch works, and that could go back in if someone wanted to go for originality. I also updated the fuel pump to a modern electric one, since there's no maintenance on those. The car came with a new old stock pump, which is included. I also updated it to an alternator and a modern throw-out bearing and a coolant recovery tank. The interior has LED lighting, as does the trunk and all the instruments. The center console is handmade and looks correct in the car. I added 3-level heated seats that work very well. Not shown is a modification to the floor heater, which now favors the passenger. The seats are original MGA seats, but they've been modified to provide better lumbar support. They have modern seat tracks and perforated vinyl, which breathe very well. They're actually quite comfortable. I added retractable seat belts that use the disconnect that you need in order to put the top up. The stereo is concealed, as are the speakers. It has a 4-speaker setup with a compact subwoofer, and it's controlled by the wired remote in the console. You can also use the Pioneer SmartSync app that gives you an amazing amount of control. I've installed many of these over the years, and they're extremely robust. It's also wired for hands-free phone control. There's a small ripple in the front header that's a result of an altercation with a bicycle in the garage. It's hard to see, but a competent paintless dent removal guy could probably make it vanish completely. There's also a small assembly nick at the back edge of the hood, which is touched up. The fuel gauge is new, as is the sending unit, but they're not a matched set. The gauge works, but it reads half full when full and empty when empty. There's a storage pouch for side curtains behind the seats, but I never bought the curtains. The car is meant to be driven on nice days, and the convertible tops on these things are really for entertainment value only. This is why I put vinyl seats in it. The new owner should plan on enclosed shipping, but I'd be happy to assist with installing side curtains if need be. Also note that there is a separator panel between the trunk and the interior, so your spare tire is a can of fix flat. Included with the car are all the receipts I got from the first owner and receipts for pretty much everything I bought. There's a supply of some extra service items and a pretty complete library of restoration and service manuals that the original owner supplied. I've been restoring cars since 1978, both professionally and as an enthusiast. You can ask anyone who has this obsession, they'll tell you there's no profit in restoring cars. I do this for fun, and I choose cars that are interesting or have interesting design. The MGA is a beautiful car and it has amazing character. And I never restore cars with the intention of selling them, but at the moment I have too many cars and there's many more on the bucket list. So I'm happy to accommodate inspections or answer questions if you have them.